Somos LatinX Radio Stream, una voz que conecta, une e inspira.
Aquí celebramos tus raíces y te ayudamos a crecer.
Desde historias que inspiran hasta el ritmo que nos mueve.
Siempre contigo, siempre latinos.
LatinX Radio Stream, tu cultura, tu música.
En el corazón de Sarasota County, la Cámara de Comercio nos trae historias inspiradoras y eventos que resaltan el éxito, la innovación y la fuerza de nuestra comunidad. Desde relatos de emprendedores hasta iniciativas que nos unen. Acompáñanos en este viaje de diversidad y éxito. Todo se encuentra aquí, en la voz de los negocios de Sarasota. Solo por LatinX Radio Stream.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of Business Sarasota. I am your host, Melanie Lavender, manager of the Opportunities for All program, which is an initiative through the Greater Sarasota Chamber of Commerce. It is so good to be back with you all today. And one of our special guests today is Judith Williams, owner and CEO of JD Wms Diversity Group. Welcome so much, Judith, to today's Voice of Business Sarasota. How are you?
I'm good, Melanie, and thank you for having me on the show. I am definitely looking forward to our discussion. I think this is going to be a great show, and I think it's going to be something that is enlightening to other business owners out there. Yes.
So just to get in, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you want to start JD Wms Diversity Group?
Well, I've always worked in the community, but I also worked for the state of Florida. I was an operational organizational analyst. And one of the things that I've always liked about being in Sarasota or just other areas, it was working in small business, working with small businesses. So I volunteered in the community, worked with a few small businesses, and I found that there were several things that small businesses like micro business owners and entrepreneurs, where you wear one hat, it was always difficult for them to to manage their businesses to a point to where they were successful and they were able to grow. Mm-hmm. And I began to look at it and I started to talk to some small businesses, and I thought that I had an innovative solution to helping them move their business forward. Mm-hmm. So when I retired, I just decided to open up JD Wms Diversity Group to start working with the small businesses to help them grow and expand and start, because a lot of them, we just miss that basic. And as an operational analyst, that's what I was taught to do. You know, you go in and you look at an organization, you see what was needed, and that's what you did. Okay. So I'm enjoying it, and I love small businesses. I really do.
Wow. So just getting out and talking to people within the community, other business owners, mm-hmm. you had that light bulb moment. This is something I could do for a living. Wow. Yes. Now, this is your second career, because you just said that you retired.
Yes.
Okay. So are you one of those people that needed another project?
You know what? I am always, but you know what? I've always been like that. I have to have something to do. And I believe in giving back to the community. I believe in helping other people. And I actually love to see people grow, expand, and just move past me. So I really do. I just like working with people, and small businesses happen to be a passion of mine.
Yes, ma'am. And you are very much an advocate for a lot of the businesses that you represent. How did that come into play?
Well, you know what? When you start talking to small businesses and you're in it yourself, it was quite interesting. I must say that I was talking to a small business owner who knew I came from the state of Florida. They knew the position that I had. And I was telling them, I said, well, when I started my business, the biggest eye-opener for me, I could not pick up the phone and call someone that was in technology and say, oh, my computer is not working. Mm-hmm. And, I was accustomed to them just coming in and they could remotely come in and fix my computer. I was surprised when I started to work, when I first opened my business, how websites and how people were offering me from developing my website. From they would say, okay, I could do one for $700 to $7,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on here? So one of the things that just really just resonated with me in throughout the community was that a small business owner, a micro business owner, an entrepreneur, they needed more services. They needed help with resources and finding resources that could help them, because revenue and getting income coming in, it was really difficult. And so you want to make your income that you have coming in more impactful to you.
Wow. So there is a phrase that you said, micro businesses. Can you explain what exactly is a micro business? Like, we've heard of the small businesses, but some of our listeners might not know what a micro business is.
Well, I can do that. With a small business, when you go in on the Small Business Administration website, they say a small business is up to 500 employees in like $1 million. It's not a 1 million. I take it back. $5 to $7 million. Most micro business owners, they're just getting started.
Yeah.
So for the most part, they're earning like $30,000 to $40,000 a year. That's a micro business owner. We want them to grow and be able to get to the point to where they are earning $5 to $7 million. But they're not really in a small business category. They are actually in a micro business owner. And what that means too is that they're wearing all the hats. Yeah. They don't have those resources. As I mentioned earlier, I was able to, one of the other things I could do was call up my secretary or call up my administrative system and say, you know what, I need a boardroom where I can have a conference and I can do those things. Small businesses, small businesses, they don't have that. Yeah. They don't have that. So.
And now, you are a part of the 2024 cohort of Opportunities for All members. Yes. And you were awarded a grant. How did you find out about the Opportunities for All program?
One of the things that I offer, and I can only, if you're going to offer services to the community, you need to know what is out there. So I had began to do all the research about about industries that were out there, small profits that were out there supporting the small businesses. An Opportunity for All through the Chamber of Commerce. I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I was on the website one day, and I saw Opportunity for All, and I was like, wow. And I began to do the research, and I thought, this is a perfect fit for me. Because what happens is that small businesses need to know what is a fit for them. All banks, because they need to know what is out there, what resources fit them. All banks does not fit them. And all nonprofits that are out there that are working to help small businesses may not fit their business. And they can spend a lot of time doing that. And that's what I do. So I found a program that I could partner with, that I could work with, that I could help me grow so that I can extend that same type of services to the community. An Opportunity for All was the perfect fit for me.
Yes, that's good to know, because that's what the program is about, is making an impact within the business. Because a lot of times those first 3 years in a business can be some of the most stressful seasons. How do you help your clients get through that point? Those 3 years and not knowing, do you ask them what information they're missing? Or is that something you do as you guys work through the process?
Well, one of the things that we start off with when we're working with a client is that we just start having some conversation. I just start talking to them about their business and try to define exactly what their need is and where they're going. So I help them begin to, when I'm talking to them, I'm actually helping them to structure their business then, because you need to know what your business is about. So what I do is I talk to them to find out how much do they know about their business, where do they want to go, what do they want to do, what are they liking, what are they needing, what are some of the problems that they have.
Yeah.
And so we have that conversation from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about serving the community. You're a part of the Newtown Business Council. We just finished up with research on what the community needs. Mm-hmm. How did you become a part of the Newtown Business Council? And tell us a little more information about it.
Well, the Newtown Business Council, I had known about them for about a year before I joined them. And one of the things that we had discovered, again, when you're out there and you're talking to small businesses, they had a problem with connecting and trying to build out the MLK corridor, trying to, have businesses that were flourishing. So we decided, we had that conversation, and we had an organization to come in to work with us on trying to develop out Newtown. And so I just, I knew the president, and I just, came and I joined that meeting, and we have been having some conversation, and I've definitely been involved now for quite some time. Again, we would love to see the Newtown corridor just become something thriving, that would be something that would it would be something that would reflect our history, the history in our civil rights movement, our history and all the contributions that African Americans have made to not just the Newtown community, not just to the United States, but the world. Yeah.
And we through a lot of your conversations with business owners, with community people, we at the Chamber, we're looking to do, and you've partnered with us to do the Suncoast Small Business Conference, resiliency and lessons learned through financial lessons. I hope I said that right. But we are getting ready for that. And we decided to stick with the finances because that is some of the most basic but hardest things, whether you're trying to generate more revenue, or if you're set up, you've been talking to people, so you kind of have your ear to the ground and is listening to these owners and entrepreneurs. What are you looking forward the most with our small business conference?
Oh my gosh. What I'm looking for more, my business is designed for creativity and innovation.
Yeah. And
so I'm always looking at doing things outside of the box. And I think that the small business conference that we're going to be bringing on May 23rd, 2025 at the West Coast Black Group Theater is going to be one that is going to be very impactful in the community. One of the things when I went through my research with workshops talking to small businesses, the conversation always came back to, I need money to run my business.
Yeah.
How do I get money to run my businesses? And when you start going back and you start listening to people and you start putting things together, you begin to realize that there is a process that they need to go through. So this business conference, I am so very excited about, because I think this is going to be it's going to be an eye-opener for small businesses, that we'll be able to develop a plan, to help them to develop a plan. And again, when I mentioned earlier that every resource or product or service out there does not fit your business. So one of the things we want to do is help them develop a plan and a process to where they're going to be going after the type of resource that's actually going to be able beneficial to their businesses, to help their business grow and find financial to be able to find money that's going to help them grow, because everybody will not be eligible for a bank loan, and there's other funding out there that a small business can apply for.
Yeah, it is. And I think so many people don't succeed as entrepreneurs because of that lack of knowledge. are you accepting clients right now, or how can people get in on your services in 31 years of knowledge? And because you're only like, what, 45 maybe?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that.
But how can they take advantage and get some expertise, advice, guidance through JD Williams?
Absolutely. I am growing, and one of the things I am having some communication. I am accepting clients, and you can always contact me through my website, which is Judith Williams. I'm sorry, at JD, which is JD Wms Diversity Group.com. And you can also email me at Judith Williams at JD Wms Diversity Group.com. Now, one of the things that I do again is that we do have some conversation from the beginning, and I do encourage people that when you're calling me and you're talking to me, we want to talk about your business first. What are you trying to do? Where you're trying to go? So if you want to talk to me about it, I am definitely there for us to have some conversation. We're also going to be kicking off, you and I had talked about this as well. We're going to be kicking off some workshops after the business conference that I think is going to be definitely beneficial to the small businesses in the community, because those workshops are going to be a follow-up from the business conference, and that's going to be something that's critical, because we will not be able to cover everything that a small business need from that workshop, or within that workshop. Not workshop, I'm sorry. We cannot cover everything that in a business conference that a small business will need. So we understand the fact that we will need to do some follow-up workshops in order to work with small businesses. So please give me a call, or just email me, and I will be able to help you talk about your business, start working on what I call a mini business plan, because the important part about being successful in a small business is to have a plan to know where you're going. But first, you need to know what point you're starting from. You need to know more about your business, what clients you're going to be serving, how you're going to serve them, how you're going to reach them. And basically, you want to also know, what am I up against out here? Things change, the business world changes all the time, and that's what we want to do, is help small business stay apprised about what is happening in the small business community, what is happening around the world, what is happening in the United States, and how it will affect their business.
Yeah. Wow, Judith, I love it, because we aren't just going to do the conference and say you're on your own. There's no follow-up. Great job. We want them to come back. We want to bring them back. We want to make sure the information is holding, and that you've been able to have some movement, even if it's just small steps, like picking that bank and finding out which one works best for you. What are some of the things you looked for when you were choosing a bank?
That was one of the things that I did my research on, and I must say that I have an advantage over a lot of the small businesses that are out there now, is because I still have my retirement, and so I was able to take my time.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter whether I had a hit on my credit or not, because I'm at that age to where, your credit is good, whatever, and you can take a hit. So one of the things that I started to do was to research where some of the money was coming from that the federal government was bringing into the community. And I followed it, and I began to make applications to just different sources. Then banks who got some of the federal money, credit unions who got some of the federal money, banks that had programs, banks that did not have programs. So it was a difficult process, and I found out even with my credit, I was denied. I was like, what?
Wait a minute. Not with me. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
You know what happened?
What?
I was denied because my business either wasn't open long enough or I had not generated enough income.
Wow.
You would get denied for that.
Yeah.
You can have the credit, you can have everything, but they can deny you because your business wasn't open long enough or you didn't have the credit. So finding the right product that matches your business need is very important. And that's some of the things we're going to be talking about at the 2025 Business Conference. And I am so excited about that.
Yeah. And it's one thing I would love for you to tell our listeners. Since opening JD Wms Diversity Group, has it changed? Has your products changed? Has it changed at all?
Oh, yes. Yes, it has. I had, when I started out, I had a business plan. And my business plan now is like 64 pages. But when I first started out, it was like, I'd be 12 to 13. Not only do I have a business plan, but I have a business model.
Oh, wow.
And what has changed about my business model because of the industry I'm in, business management consulting, it changed to where it fits the need of the customer.
Yeah.
What is it that the customer needs? And the majority of the customers, that's how I manage my business. One of the things that I like small business owners to understand is that it's easier for you to pivot if you're a small business than if you're a mega large business. It takes them a little time. So that's one of the biggest advantages that a small business owner has. I was able to pivot and say, hey, this is not what they need. This is what they really need. And the interesting thing about it is that it's easier to come in with a plan, to say this small business need this. But I tell you what happens is that when you find out what they really need, then that's when it makes it difficult and you have to do a lot of more research, you have to do a lot more planning, especially in this industry, if you're going to be able to provide the services that they need.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you talked about listening to your customers, because sometimes people will say, I know exactly what it is that you need, but haven't had that conversation. And you want people around your business like it's your baby, is what I think of. And you don't just let anybody hold your baby, be around your baby, especially when it's a newborn and it's still learning who it is and what this world is about. What advice can you give those entrepreneurs who is at the point where I'm about to do my son biz? I'm nervous. This is a big step. I haven't done anything. There's no one else in my family who has done this. What word of advice can you get them that's at that point?
Well, one thing I can tell you not to do is quit your daytime job.
There we go.
A lot of people quit their daytime job and they just jump in and they have very little, and they use a lot of their savings. And, you find sometimes people who have retired get into a small business and they put all of their pension money and everything in it and they lose it within 5 years. So one of the things that I do try to have clients do is come and have some conversation with a business management consultant like myself so that we can just sit down and talk through your plan. I had a young lady one time that she was struggling with her business and she was just adamant about she wanted to get into doing business with the federal government. And when you want to do that, that is a very long process and it will be impactful. It's going to take time away from the business that you're doing. So by the time we had the conversation and we were talking through the process about what she needed to do and how she needed to do it, she made a decision that might not be where I want to go. And I don't tell you that's not where you want to go. I will tell you what you need to do in order to reach that point. Yeah. So I do help people through the federal certification as well. But a lot of people think that, especially when they need monies, they think, I'll go to the federal government. Well, it takes about 2 years.
Wow.
And even when you do the application, after you go through the SAM process, the registration with SAM, you do everything, you still have to get out there and you still have to market yourself, and then you have to have that capability. So we have different conversations like that. How much experience have you had in running or doing a business? Let's say you want to open up a pizza shop. Do you have any experience in baking and making a pizza? You know, it looks easy. Do you know where you want to put your business at? You know, those are the kind of questions that, you know, you need to answer these things before you put a lot of money and a lot of time
in it. Yeah. So definitely keep that day job, but use that daytime job to accomplish the basic needs that you have.
Yes.
And then you can definitely open up your sun biz. And this is like, as your business has evolved, Judith,
Yes.
You had that nest egg, which allowed you not to just be motivated by money.
Yes.
And having a lack of. You're going after this because of passion.
I love it.
Yeah, you love, and it comes through. You also are a writer. You are like a Renaissance woman. Oh, life goals. You're a writer, and you write weekly for Tempo News, which is like our community newspaper in Sarasota.
Yes.
How did you get involved in that?
Oh my gosh. Well, I moved here from Tennessee, moved to Sarasota from Tennessee probably about 45 years ago. And after I was here probably about 2 or 3 years, and I started out with not just Tempo, it was, I can't remember the name now, it was another name of the newspaper, and I can't remember it now. But the owner, Johnny Hunter, had reached out to me probably 20 years ago, and I wrote for him for about 2 or 3 years, and then I had other obligations, and I could not continue.
Yeah.
So what I did was about 6 years ago, he reached out to me again before he had passed, and he asked me would I start writing for them again, and that's how. But I've always had that relationship with him, so and it was the Bulletin. I started out working with when it was the Bulletin. You remember that?
Yes, ma'am. I do. So it is. You said something that was really important, and that was the relationship.
Yes.
How important has networking been to Judith as well as to JD Wms Diversity Group?
You know what? That was one of the things that drew me to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Was that you have these networking opportunities that you can go and have conversation with people, talk to people. And what it does is that it gives you this ability to actually tell someone about your product. And again, remember when I started to talk about, when we first started the conversation, we were saying that you need to be able to know your business.
Yeah.
And knowing your business, you will need to be able to tell people what you do and how you do it, and you need to be able to do it in 1 to 2 minutes. And that was one of the things I liked about the chamber. And when I got involved with Opportunity for All, I really began to do a lot of network with them and just going to the different events that they have. And I promise you, every time we did it, it was always, you needed to tell people about your business. And you would be surprised at how people would start talking about their business, and they began to grow, and you'll be able to just fill it out. You'd be like, okay, this is what I do. And I just love that. Yeah.
And it's important because it's in those networking sessions that you are introduced a lot of times to the leaders of particular industries, depending on where you're at, which networking event it is. What was the last event you were able to come through at the chamber?
It was the welcome to our Opportunity for All Chamber of Commerce event where they welcomed us in for the year 2025. I enjoyed it tremendously. It was a lot of fun. And again, I had to stand and tell people what I did, what my business was about and how I could connect with them in order to where we could be working together. And I love that because that's one of the things that we're all going to need to be able to do in the coming of years for 2025. We're going to have to learn how to partnership and work together. And I think that it's going to be just critical.
It is. I am so grateful for you today, Judith, coming in, making time to speak with us here at the Voice of Business Sarasota. Thank you to LatinX. Can you tell the people how they can contact you again?
Absolutely. You can contact me through my website, which is JD Wms Diversity Group. That's JD Wms Diversity Group. Or you can email me at judithwilliams@jdwmsdiversitygroup.com.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, guys, this has gone by really quick. It's like one of those conversations when you get into it and it's like more questions. Judith is a wealth of information, knowledge, and wisdom. So definitely connect with her when you can. And we will see you guys on our next go round of The Voice. May 23rd. Do not forget about that. And we will have more information coming to you, as well as we'll be back next time with another Opportunities for All grantee, and you can learn more about that business as well.